Welcome, everyone, to the Beacon of Light podcast tonight. Hello, this is Mr. John Hulen, and so we are so excited to have him here to welcome and join us this evening. We have our favorite things going on for another 6 days. I know we took a little break during Thanksgiving time, and so now we're back. So this will be Sunday through Friday. After Friday, you've got all the information of my favorite things. Go out there and grab it. So really exciting time for us, and welcome, John. So let's get this started.
I'm April Tribe Juke. Welcome to the Beacon of Light podcast. I believe we are all made with light, and light is hope. This podcast brings authors who write stories of hope to all of you. Your journey to be inspired and amplified by these stories starts now.
And we are back. So you can see rolling along here on the bottom of our scroll, Mr. John is going to talk about an F6 formula. What the heck is that? Share it out. What is that?
Okay. Well, one of the things that people in business often talk about is having a framework. And I'm kind of tired of that word. So I came up with a different one. I call it formula. The F6 formula, they are 6 areas of a man's life that he tends to struggle in, especially after he gets married. I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag and say what the 6 are. Faith, fashion, fitness, food, friendship, and fun. Those 6 areas. And so one of the things that I do as a coach is I help men get better in those 6 areas so they can improve their most significant relationships at home. And then I also help them translate that into their business lives. Because when things are going well at home, it just makes sense that they're going to go well in business.
Perfect. So look at that. Guys, this is all for you out there. And women, you can definitely apply this as well, okay?
Mhm.
This isn't just a one and only, but really the focus in for John is to really help and support our guys out there to know, what it is that they can do to improve on. And it's kind of cool that guy to guy kind of thing, that male magic, that guy to guy type of deal. They can really just kind of shoot the breeze while they're shooting the hoops and figure out life. But really, in all seriousness, those 6 things, how did you come about figuring that out? What did you do?
That's a great question, April. I'm going to take an extremely long story and make it really, really short. I've been divorced for almost 12 years now, and there were a lot of warning signs that the end was coming that I never saw as a guy. And I struggled in those 6 areas that I mentioned. Had I had someone who could come alongside me and help me to be able to see that, they had the foresight, someone who'd been through it to help guide me, I think, honestly, I wouldn't be divorced today. And so that's what I care about, is I want to help other guys not end up like me. So please learn from my mistakes. One of the great things about hindsight is that it allows you to be able to see with crystal clear vision what's going on in other people's lives. I can see miles ahead where men that I know that their lives are just, they're heading off a cliff and they don't even see it. They just think the road keeps going. And so that's part of what I view my job is to try and help men see, oh, guess what? There is a cliff. It's coming up much faster than you think. And if you don't get a hold of these things, you're going to tumble over the end. And it is not going to feel good when you get to the bottom.
Wow, powerful. So this is a really good story where you've had the experience and trying to help prevent the experiences from following through on a lot of other men out there. Have you had anyone reach out to you and say, John, what you said to me during that coaching session was exactly what I needed, and here's how the change was? Has anyone reported back to you?
Yes, I've had that many, many times. In fact, April, I'm sure you'll appreciate this as a coach as well. And that is, coaches coach. We don't talk about coaching, we do coaching. And so there are times when I coach people because it's second nature to me and I'm not charging them. We're not having a session, but I'm like, I notice something and I can't let it go because I don't want the magic moment to be gone. I want to be able to capitalize on it right then. And so those happen a lot. But to answer your question, yes, I have had people come back to me time and time again, say, John, thank you for pointing that out. I never would have seen that if you hadn't said something to me. Or they've said things like, my wife's been telling me for years about this thing, and I thought she was making it up. I thought it just wasn't true. And now I got it from you. And it's like, oh my gosh, I guess that really is real. I need to pay attention to this and do something about it.
Right. And that's that part, that guy to guy thing. It just seems to connect, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes through our filter, we're thinking, oh, maybe that's a nag, or maybe, this or this is going on, not me, couldn't be about me. Well, when the guy to guy thing points it out, there is a shift. There's something different. I know just in watching my husband chat it up with his guys, his dude friends, there's some element there of truth that just kind of happens that they can be really spot on with. And, afterwards I've texted and reached out and said, I don't know what you guys talked about, but thanks. Today's been a lot better. So awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just some of those back things that it's an awareness, and really we need each other. And so guys need each other's, women, of course, we always have these talks and chats, that kind of thing. But really, it's true, because the emotions, the things, the everyday stuff that happens compounds, and no one's supposed to do it alone.
Right.
There is no victory in doing it alone. Hello. I mean, if you have any faith, Christ is like, don't do it alone. Yoke it with me. Come on, let's do this together. I mean, we're not built to be alone with this.
Sure.
So John is one of those coaches that can reach out and help. And this F6 formula is something that can really, really make a difference in your life. Like we put down there on the blog today. And if you have any questions more about that, we're going to reach out to John. And I have this here. I think. This is kind of a place that you can grab him at and send him a message. He's also on Instagram and Twitter and all of the social media outlets there. But grab a hold of him and say, hey, I have a question. Or as a wife, say, I'd like to send my hubby your way. Whichever way works, right? Whichever way works. The point is that John is developing and is ready to go with a master class. Now, share with all of us when this will be.
Actually, April, it's a mastermind group. And so the mastermind is going to start in January. And so there's going to be an application process, which means not everybody who applies is necessarily going to get in. That doesn't mean that I don't think everybody is important. It's just I want to make sure that what I'm offering is a fit for that person, and that person is a fit for this particular group at this time. So there is an application process. We're going to go a minimum of 6 months. We're going to meet twice a month on Zoom calls. And then each person will have a one-on-one session with me sometime during the 6 months where we can talk about anything and everything that you want to talk about. So whatever issues are going on, whatever help you need from me, I'll be there for you to help you. And one of the things that I'm the most excited about is that I'm going to be able to bring in friends of mine who are experts in various areas that I think are really going to be able to help sharpen the point for each of those areas. And in addition to that, they can be people who could become mentors and or coaches to others who are in the group who maybe need their particular expertise.
Awesome. So share with us a short example of what that would look like.
Okay. Like a typical session where we get together. It'll last about an hour, go about an hour and a half. One of the great things about the mastermind group that I'm doing is that while there is going to be teaching time and learning time, there's also going to be accountability time. And so each man who's in this group is going to be partnered with another man, where they're going to keep up with one another especially in the times when we don't meet together. So they'll be able to get closer to each other, get to know each other better, and hold each other accountable for the things that they say they need help with. So that's a very key element. And we're going to be talking about those things during the sessions as well. It's like, hey, how are you doing with this particular thing? So keeping the group relatively small, I'm thinking in terms of 10 men. So it'll be an even number. So everybody has a partner. And if there's more than 10 that apply, then I'll evenly divide and then split and have multiple groups.
So really small, intimate, so that you can feel like you can share. You don't have to be like, oh, I got my stuff here. Right? This
Right.
is that opportunity to be vulnerable, discuss, figure out, find ways to know what to do. And I'm guessing you're probably not going to be making clay figures. And how do you feel about that? You're probably just going to be shooting it up and figuring out what to do, probably really directly in some ways.
Oh, yeah.
And in that bluntness, it's part of the awareness to help with the change. Really,
For
it's
sure.
not. So it sounds like a lot of truth telling is going to be happening.
Yes.
So
Well,
be
I will say
ready for
this.
that.
Truth telling is important, but if it is not wrapped in love, then it is painful to take. I've had truth tellers in my life that didn't do it with love. They didn't last very long with me. I can tell you that. And so I don't want to do that for other people. I definitely want to give them truth, but I want them to know that I care about them at the same time. Both are equally important. One other thing that I want to mention is that as the group comes toward its ending time, there will be an opportunity to re-up for another 6 months. And the goal within that first calendar year is to have a live event in person where we can all come together, because we'll be coming from different places, some potentially from other countries, potentially. But we're all going to come together. And again, I'm going to do my best to bring in some of those guests that I had speak to everyone, have them actually be present so people can get to know them one another, because there's nothing like being with other people face to face. It just makes a huge difference in connections.
Right. So true. And the accountability part, right? We can't hide behind the screen. Can't wear your jammy pants and your nice top, right?
That's
You
right.
can't be
That's right.
hiding. Got to be up there, open, let it go and let it flow. So with this F6 formula, you'll be focusing in on those 6 parts. So if they're lacking in faith, that's going to be part of the group discussion. If they're lacking in their fashion, can you explain a little bit more about that? That's kind of interesting, actually.
I can explain that, yes. The easiest way I can explain it is this. There's something that happens to men, especially after they get married. And there's like a switch that's inside of us that gets turned off. And the switch is the one that we use when we pursue. Once we get married, we figure it out. It's like, aha, I have her now. So I don't need to pursue anymore. And when we stop pursuing, other things go to the wayside, like fashion. I can tell you, if you look at a group of people and you know what to look for, it is not difficult to see which guys are married and which guys are single based upon what they're wearing.
True that. We'll get in trouble here. I'll just say true that. Okay, moving on. So guys, there are some great things for you to kind of be aware of, and join this master group with John starting in January. What's the date again in January that it starts?
Well, I'm holding off for a couple weeks, so it's going to be mid-January. Once the group is figured out, meaning who's going to be in it, then I'll be able to figure out which day is the day that we're going to be meeting on. So that's why it's kind of tentative, but I'm saying mid-January.
Awesome. So apply, contact John, go through that Facebook. Let's see, at least start here, go through, contact him. He'll give you the application process, go through and find out what you can do to help create and develop the new you for the new year. Strengthen that marriage. You've got 6 things to kind of work on and focus in on. And if you feel like you're weak in any of those places, this is a great thing. If you feel like, I got this, maybe still check it out, because maybe you don't.
No, for sure. You need to check it out, because if you think you got it figured out, I can promise you don't. Because
Right.
I was that guy, so I know. I know. And I will say this to any ladies who are watching and or listening to this. If you think this is something that can benefit your significant other, make this the Christmas gift that you give. An investment in someone, in who someone is the absolute best gift to give.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So this is why I brought John on our Beacon of Light favorite things, and we're so glad that he joined us this evening. You guys know where to go. Grab it, go there, check out the blog again, join the mastermind group, and enjoy creating and developing a new you for the new year. This is April speaking. We'll see ya. Bye, everybody.
Bye.